Hey friendly junk journal people, so I have been up pretty much all night working on the author cards. And so the author cards are the ones I described will have their picture and the name of the author on the front, and then I put the last name at the back of the top, the birth date and the death date. I put the author of, and then the quote at the very bottom. So I will start out by showing you the founder of the group's author card. Yes, she actually has 2 books. I've got the other one on the way. So this is Michelle's card, and obviously I've embellished it. So it's not just a flat, it's got some texture. I inked cardstocks. It's got her picture, her name, this butterfly, which is actually flat in a package, and I popped up because I thought it looked really pretty. And there's a doily and some ribbon. So you see there's her name and her picture on the front. And then on the back it has her last name, her birth date, and she's the author of Random Bleedings of a Broken Heart and The Little Cook in the Tiny House. I have both books. And the quote I chose is actually part of a longer quote, but chose not only to live but to survive. And I thought that was a good quote from her. So I will show you one of my favorite authors. This is my Poe one. So obviously this is an artist's rendering of Poe, but it is a true-to-life image. If we all decide to do this swap, I would like to use this true-to-life image. So something that isn't like fan fiction or a caricature, you want to have true-to-life. This is true-to-life, even though it has the black cat and the raven, but it is spot on to the daguerreotype that's still in existence. Obviously it says his name. And on the back it says Poe, 1809 to 1849. He was just 40 years old when he died. He wrote The Raven, Annabel Lee, which is my favorite poem, The Black Cat, and many more. Murders in the Rue Morgue is also his. And All That We See or Seem is but a dream within a dream. And it is from one of his poems, and I thought it was fitting for this card. And then here is Neil Gaiman. He's one of my favorite authors. Again, it's decorated. His name's on the front. Cardstock was used. Actually, this is a piece of leather. I thought it was a neat accent because it's kind of rugged and rough. So again, on the back, it has his birth date. He's the author of Coraline, Stardust, Neverwhere, The Graveyard Book, and so many more. I think he's got something like 25 to 30 titles that are his. The world always seems brighter when you've just made something that wasn't here before. And I think that is so fitting for our group. And then I did Louisa May Alcott. Obviously, she's another one of my favorite authors. And I just thought birds were fitting because I recently watched a documentary and she was such a free spirit that I thought, you know, why not? So, front again, an image that is lifelike. It is a picture of her. Her last name, her birth and death dates. She was the author of Little Women, Little Men, Jo's Boys, and I'm going to put and many more. Life and love are very precious, were in full bloom, and obviously I put more birds. So they kind of tied together. And then here is Jane. This is the only known painting of Jane that is in existence. Everything else is based off of this one picture. And it says Jane Austen. Again, it's her birth and death date, Sense and Sensibility, Emma, Pride and Prejudice, Northanger Abbey, Persuasion, Mansfield Park. There is no charm equal to tenderness of heart. And obviously it's embellished. So it has ribbon. You don't have to make it look like this, but you want it to be the ATC size, which these will fit in a card pocket. And you want to embellish it and make it your own. And we're down to the last. I made 7. And we're down to my last 2 favorite authors. And I'm going to show you J.K. Rowling's because she is by far one of the authors I have gone back to the most times and found comfort in her books. So this is some weird yarn and it nets out. It's like it looks like a fishing net. It's the neatest thing. So I put it there for some texture. And then obviously her portrait, a picture of her and her name. And on the back, July 31st, 1965. The Harry Potter series, A Casual Vacancy. She also has a pen name of Robert Galbraith, and she's written 3 mysteries under that pen name and is working on a 4th. And it says, no story lives on unless someone is willing to listen. And my favorite author of all time, and the woman whose life has inspired me, is Charlotte Bronte. And obviously, I went for a very Victorian feel with her. So there's a doily that's inked. I had a rose patterned paper. Her name is on there. And then this is actually 3 pieces of the same lace that's on the one I made for Jane Austen. And I've layered them to add some texture. And then on the back, it has her birth and death dates. And she wrote 4 books, Villette, Shirley, The Professor, and Jane Eyre. And I like The Professor almost better than I like Jane Eyre for certain aspects. And then my quote for her is, true enthusiasm is a fine feeling whose flash I admire wherever I see it. So there is all 7. And so this is the idea behind the artist trading cards. Back in the day, I had a couple I printed out. But you used to play a card game where you would match the authors. And it's a very highly collectible. I've seen them going on Etsy for $10 to $15 for 1 card. So I thought, why not make your own with the same premise, but then they're highly tradable. So my thought was, ladies, is that we could make 6 or 9 or 3 or however many we decide, and then we can swap between us to get the authors we truly love. These, however, other than Jane Austen, the other Michelle has called dibs on her. These 6 are mine, and they are not going anywhere because they are very, very much the first ones I've ever made like this, and I couldn't part with them to send them away. So I will be making 6 more for the swap, so I will have made 13. But I thought I'd show you guys what they look like, how I create mine, and you can run from there. But again, if we do the swap, it will be the 2.5 by 3.5 inch. It will be, you can use both sides, so you would have writing on the back and writing on the front. And it would have to be a picture or portrait that was painted in their lifetime or is lifelike and it could be painted posthumously as well. All right, ladies, that's what I wanted to show you.